Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So, a little bit of lag as I jump on this morning. The harvester's been banging into the building and such. Hopefully I'm past that. But, jumped on and, oops, gotta grab that here first, and then this fent I think kind of connects itself. So field 35 is where I need to go, and I'm harvesting some barley. Alright, so I'm over here on field 35, which is just across the river from my fields, so it's pretty close. Pretty small field, not very big, so contracts obviously the similar manner, not very big. I think we're going to get a couple $1,000s off of it at best. So nothing too much to write home about. I just went ahead and did that one edge just because I knew it would be close to the riverside at some point, and then I'd be trying to do all the turnarounds over there, so I figured that would give me a little bit more room. So I'll get this part done here, then I'll finish up that little sliver, and then I'll just obviously go across pretty straight. So, thinking this will be an hour of work or so. Maybe a little less, hopefully. We'll see. 3:30, probably 3:35 when I started. So we'll see if I get done by 4:35. But as mentioned in the past, again, generational farming is our kind of active competition that we're doing over kind of an undetermined amount of time, which is part of the intrigue of it as well. Now I see I'm trying to pick up my header to turn around. That usually helps go quicker, but I didn't have the tool selected, so it was ignoring me. Didn't seem to be helping much. So some of these harvesters will go a little quicker when you pick it up. Some you need to turn off, so this one seems to be that I need to turn off, but that way I can make the turnaround faster and just overall keep going quicker, because otherwise it's going to take even longer to get something done. But you can see on the mini-map, pretty tiny field. So we'll see what happens, but I've also talked about with generational farming that I'll probably spend more time showing things in the contracting and talk about where we're at while I'm doing the contracts, rather than constantly all you're seeing is me doing the grass work, which today is another thing that I will be doing. The field is ready again, so once I get to the longer lines on the field, we'll take a look at where our silos sit and see how the processing of last crop has gone in relation to what I'm thinking it would be doing. I don't know that it would have entirely finished, but it really should be very close. Alright, so now I've got my full row. So if I look here, in fact, everything is fully processed, which is excellent. It's exactly what I'd like to see. So it looks like I've got a little over 13,000 more in one than the other, so I'll just need to keep that in mind and maybe do an extra load in the one silo ahead of time and kind of start with that and give it 2 loads to begin with to try to even those out, because that just will work a little bit better, because at this point they're both going to be able to run pretty well and get through things. And even if, like right now, it was still waiting to get done, I'd still be able to go ahead and it would be processing while I'm doing this work, and in another hour or whatever I'd probably get 600 or 700 liters at least done in addition. Now, it would be more than that, but several thousand, so maybe it'd be 4 or 5,000, I don't know. I'm trying to take 85,000 divided by 24. Probably a little bit lower than that, or, well, no, in an hour that might be. Let's make sure we don't run over. Go back here, we'll get a trailer. It's a good sized trailer. So there's a possibility, although it probably will be a little bit more than one. I don't know that I got it, I think. Might be too close. Gave it to me. So it's a good size trailer. I mean, again, that harvester, as you saw, we're at about 12,000 capacity. I'm thinking this might be at best 50,000, so it might be 4 harvesters worth. That's probably not quite what it will take to finish that field. It'll probably be a little more than that. So I may have a couple loads to fully get the barley to market. I honestly didn't even look, because at this point I know, you know, unless I'm harvesting potatoes or sugar beets or something insane, which right now I have no desire to do that, so if one of those come up, I'm likely just gonna leave it. But I need to take it to the grain mill, which is right here, so that will be nice. But yeah, it looks like 25% or a third is where I'm at. This seems to have a really long pipe, so I'm just gonna fold this. But yeah, the harvest season is just beginning. I'm actually surprised to have seen anything today, but some of the grain crops can be harvested pretty early on, because they're the few that you can kind of double crop. So depending on when they got planted, so in essence this was probably a winter crop that now has come ready to go. So yeah, if I look at the crop calendar here, you know, all the grains could have been harvested from yesterday on, so could have a few things. Potatoes might show up tomorrow. I think, as always, there's quite a few fields planted with potatoes. The farmers on this map seem to love that crop. I don't know why. I think they like to grow it, I guess. You know, obviously they're not doing it with our contracts in mind. I'd prefer something else. How about that? So I'm always pretty happy when I see something come up, and even though this is small, it was the only thing that was available when I got on. And you know, I can usually, like, grass just needs to be done today. That is the one thing I will say, that while grass work is intense as far as other crops, and that you're doing it constantly, it seems, because really you just have, it's a day off, a day on, a day off, a day on once it gets into its cycle. The nice thing is, because of the size of what I'm working and so forth, I can just set aside the grass work at some point and say, hey, another opportunity became available for me to do something else. I'll do that, and then I'll return to the grass later. So that has been kind of nice, where with other crops or other things I might not be able to be as flexible on certain days. So it's worked out, because I can be the same regardless of the time of year. So at this point, that's what the plan is. Might be some contracts that come up. You know, I'll see what happens and where they are and whatever, and if that does happen, I may add on here. Otherwise, my plan is I'm going to go ahead today, and I am just going to finish this. I'm going to divert to the grass, get as far as I can on that. If I can't finish it, obviously I'll come back later and take care of it. And that's the plan for July. But that gets you up to speed on where I'm at in generational farming, and I'll see you next time.